everybody from wherever you are in the world. I know that we might have, definitely we have Seattleites, right? And we also have others because we are on Zoom and we can reach everybody. I'm so happy to be on. Thank you so much, Nico and Andrea, for inviting me to speak to you today on a topic I am super passionate about, which is communicating your sustainability story. And there is not a better time on the planet to do that than now, because the dots are going to be connected on what's happening in the world and health and well-being and sustainability. So if you have sustainability as part of your business model, or if it's just front and center, I'm going to give you some great strategies today on what to do and how to turn up the volume of that and position it right so that you can actually grow your business. And so Mind Over Markets is my company, and that's what we help our companies do. We help them create clear messaging and marketing that gives them a sustainable advantage in their business so that they can grow it. So with that, I'm going to share my screen, and hold on one second, get into, there we go. Here we go. So that's me. Thank you for that wonderful graphic, Nico. So I'll just jump right in. I'm just going to set it up because where we're at right now, and some of this is like pre-COVID, okay? But not too long ago, just months ago, 88% of Americans think that the average person should be taking concrete steps to reduce his or her environmental impact. And 78% of Americans feel that they have a sense of personal responsibility to change their daily purchase habits, right, to positively impact the environment. Now, your product or service is going to help them do that. It's going to help them create that change. So just note that you're an assistant in helping them do that. They're looking at packaging. Not only online, but in stores when we get to go there. 44% of this is a Shelton study, by the way, of consumers report looking for sustainable claims right on their packaging before they purchase. So it needs to be front and center, but how you put it front and center matters. So I'm going to talk about that. Millennials, right, I have to say, I've been doing this for over 17 years in messaging for specifically sustainability and green products, social products and services. And the spike that we've seen over the last 3 to 4 years because of millennials coming into the marketplace and being more decision makers, 90% of them say they would purchase if they trust, big word, their brand's social, environmental and social business practices. And 95% of them said they would recommend it to their friends. So this is why we're seeing big corporate America right now moving into sustainability more than they ever have before, as long as I've been working in sustainability. Right behind them, the Gen Z generation, right? They're in college still, maybe in high school. If you look at 2017, environment, this is their priorities, 20%, and that grew in 2019, right? And it's probably even higher. This was before Greta got out there with her boat, right? So we know that's probably even higher, and we're going to see more and more of it. And it actually surpassed other social and environmental causes. So we know that the environment and sustainability is in the minds and hearts of Americans, okay? I put this slide in because, okay, so that's what the consumers, right, and customers are doing. And it finally took corporate America to catch up on this. And this is a study that came out at the end of last year, which was Accenture consulting firm hired or worked with the UN, and it's the largest study that's they've ever done. Over 1,000 CEOs of major corporations, large. 99% of them said, quote, sustainability issues are important to the future success of their business. Why? Because they're making more money. Number two, because they have to reach sustainability goals, ESG goals, that they make goals and they have to reach them. By buying or using services that are sustainable helps them do it. Okay, so if you're thinking about, you may not be, but if you're thinking about, gee, 5 years from now, I want to, position my company to maybe get sold or work with corporations, this is a really great time, because I love this quote by, the CEO of Unilever. There's no difference between our business strategy and our sustainability strategy. They're totally integrated. You would have not heard that 5 years ago, but it's happening today. Okay, so what does that amount to? Global market right now, and like I said, the end of last year, $2.65 trillion in sustainable goods, and another trillion in a market opportunity. I love this, because that for brands that can, quote, effectively communicate their products' sustainability attributes well. There are a lot of products out there, but some of them are missing the boat on how they're communicating it. And that's what I'm here just to help give some of my insights through the years on how you might be able to do that better. But so here we are today, right? This is a little graphic on business priorities now. We're crisis response, we're out of that right now. That's when the lockdown began, right? 1 to 14 days, it was like we were all shell-shocked, like what is going on? And right now we're between these two stages of how do we stay I gotta move my little thing over. How do we stay financially solvent for the next 6+ months? And then we're seeing this now, how do we pivot our operations and our revenue channels to answer to that, right? So this is where we're going to be for 18 months or so. I'm not a trend teller or a financial outlook. You can tell financial outlook. I'm just hearing what's in news and my reading. So it really just looks like, even though the market may get better at the end of the year as far as stocks are concerned, we know that the economy it'll take a while. So, and we're looking right through to 2021 into 2022. So this is where we are. That's where the head of your consumer is right now. And you've got to be able to message to that, because whatever you had on your website 3 or 4 months ago is not relevant anymore. That they're just not there. Then we move into this growth area, and then vision, which is where we were the end of last year, but that's not where we are today. So that's a cool little chart that shows you that. Right, why are you not in? There we go, hold on a second. Advanced. So here we go. Let me give you some strategies. Number one, which I just told you to do, right? Reframe your sustainability message. Reframe your message anyway. You can take the word sustainability out that, but it's time to reframe your message. And because it's not what was relevant is not anymore. I wanted to put this up because this was our Mind Over Markets message a few months ago, right? And we changed this, but move your market. I want to show you the shift of the reframe that happened here. Move your market, change the world, right? Very lofty-ish, more visionary, right? And that's where we were. Not today. We know that our business, the businesses that we work with, want to grow. They want to sustain their business and grow it. And they can grow it during this time. If they do it, if they get their message right, if they get their sales funnel right, they can grow their business. So we help them get clear, get heard, and grow their business. It's about helping them grow. So you see the shift that we did, and to take a look. And we know this is what we call a value pack at the bottom. But we know that sustainable business often sometimes have a conflict between making money and making an impact. Well, guess what? You can do both, and then ultimately change the world, right? So that I just wanted to show you what that reframe might do. And then you come into a lead generator. I'll talk a little bit about that later, but this is really important. Right on your homepage, how to capture a new client or a customer so that you can take them through a funnel and nurture them along the way. So we wrote one very specific to the post-pandemic world, 7 ways to grow your business during your sustainable business in a post-pandemic world, okay? There's more on that, but if you don't have some sort of lead generating right on your homepage, think about doing that now, because if you don't have a sales funnel, it's very hard to grow your business. Strategy 2. Now this is really important, because this is the mistake I see a lot with green businesses or sustainable, is they sometimes lead with the environmental message, like, oh, we're so green, right? And the problem with that is that only really 19% of the population, right, would consider themselves a deep green. And most of us are medium green, where we weigh out economics, we weigh out efficacy, and then we look at ecology. So all of these have to live together. So lead with what's important to your customer. You have to know what's important to them. And then the planet, meaning not the planet, meaning saving the planet, being the supporting role, the supporting message in what you do. Let me give you some examples of what I mean by that. Here is Allbirds. If you don't know this company, they're a shoe company, right? But they have sustainability in their DNA, okay? This is their homepage. And I've been tracking them as far as their messaging. Their first messaging was all about, we're the most comfortable shoe on the planet. And then they had their sustainability message below that. What I see now, this is what they're integrating. They're both what people love about their product and a sustainable message, but they're leading with run hard, right? That's what their customer wants to do. That's the most important part. And guess what? You can also tread light while you're running hard. They don't say, we have the most sustainable shoe on the planet, buy us. They're saying run hard, tread light. Get that? They're leading with what their customer is, what's most important. Here's another one. This was a client of ours, BioShield Healthy Living Paints. They do not have any bad VOCs, that's volatile organic compounds. It's like the yucky stuff in paint, right? So, but what do their customers want when what do you want to do when you paint your house or your living space? Is you want to make it beautiful, right? You want to make it fresh. You want to make it alive, and you don't want the toxins. So we came up with a campaign called Beauty Without the Beast, right? So we led with beauty and talked about their beautiful colors and all their colors that you can paint. And then guess what? You do not have to have toxicities too. So leading with what's important first to your customer, and then let the planet. All right, number 3 strategy. This is really important now. Increase the clarity of your sustainability efforts, okay? Increase the clarity of your sustainability efforts. And what I want to do is go to, if you scroll down from on Allbirds, and I'm using them as an example today because they're doing it right. You scroll down and you get to this is right after. Then they start telling their sustainability. Tread light together. Over the next year, we are committing to combining our talents and resources to create the lowest carbon footprint performance shoe ever. That's what they want to do. And our ultimate goal is a net zero product, okay? So I'm moving the screen around so I can read this. Let me go here. Oh, I went too far. What I'm going to do, hold on one second. I'm trying to read my screen and I'm moving. I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to just go. I'm going to go to there because I want to show you what I mean by this specifically. So here's their actual website, right? Remember I said, and by the way, I want to make a great point. They have a new message on their header. Only 2 days ago, I was at their header and that was the message I just showed you and they changed it. There's a great point in that. It's not supposed to remain static, right? Sometimes we put it up there and say, well, that's my message, right? For the next 5 years. Not anymore. So they have adventures in natural materials. Adventures, right? Because that's, look at the visual that they have. And then they talk about their sustainability piece. So here we go. You click on this and now they bring you into their story. They do a fantastic job. I'm just going to scroll down, and they talk about measuring and reducing and offsetting. And I love this. They like, what is a footprint? Don't make, this is another mistake sustainable businesses make. They assume that your customer knows what you know. Not. What's a kilowatt? What's a footprint, right? You got to let them know and break it down with clarity. And then they go on to talk about what measuring means to them. And then their carbon footprint. They're doing transparency right in front of you. Patagonia, a great company that does that all day long. So they're really considered a sustainable business, but they lead with what's important first, and then they tell their customer about how deep they're into green. But this part is not on the homepage except for that first section where you can go in deeper, okay? So I'm gonna go back to where we were here, okay? The last strategy I'm gonna tell you today is connect the dots. This means connect the dots with your customer on what's happening now in the pandemic, and we're going to start seeing more and more literature and news out how climate change kind of took a back seat a little bit of the last 3 months, right? But how climate change and plastic and all of these, these environmental issues are directly related to the health of our planet and health. And when you have a healthy planet, right, we don't have pandemics, okay? So the point is you got to connect the dots for them. Here's a recent survey that was done actually this is the results of 2 surveys. This is the smaller one, but they both have the same result. Should we respond to climate change with the same urgency as we responded to the coronavirus? In the UK, 69% of the people said yes. That's the urgency level. In the US, a little less, 57% yes. So in other words, people want to hear about this. And now that we're gonna see more and more of that. So you need to put that on your website and show that to your customer, and how what's happening now on the planet is really important to your messaging, okay? And this is just another study though at the end of last year, climate change. These are the climate change issues that are the most urgent in the minds of consumers right now. And I say climate change, I'm sorry, it's more global environmental. Number 1 is climate change, biodiversity loss, water, and it goes down through here. It's great. It just shows you what's on their minds, and wherever your messages are, to be able to like hit them hard with that. Okay. So let me just wrap that up, right? Takeaways: reframe your message to what is happening now on the planet, right? What is happening? Go back to your homepage and see from the eyes of what's happening here. Does that make sense anymore? Number 2, let the planet play the supporting role, right? What's important to your customer? First of all, you have to know who that is. Are you selling to moms, pregnant moms, or are you selling to corporations? And then you have to frame that message to what's important to them, and then let the planet play the supporting role. Increase your clarity. When you start telling your sustainability story, go into it and let them know. And you can be transparent, and you can also say, hey, this is how we're beginning, or this is where we are. We have a long way to go, but tell that story, and then connect the dots on what's happening now versus what like a few months ago. So let me tell a little bit about Mind Over Markets as we move, and then I'm going to do an assessment on a website of someone that is here. Anyway, your sustainable business is more important than ever. And what we're offering at Mind Over Markets right now for the month of June is we're literally giving a half off. If you need to get your homepage messaging right all the way through, there's actually 7 to 9 sections where you take your customer on your journey that you need to know. And by the way, feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you a free assessment. If I didn't get to everybody today, be happy to do that for you. We'll jump on a call. But this is just an offering we have for you. So because your message is too important to be lost in the crowd. And so sometimes if this sounds like true to you, that your customer might not know the true value of what you offer, why that's important, you have to let them know. You have to tell them what's important, right? You have to, if your message is maybe confusing or too wordy or doesn't get to the heart of it or is too long. Also, if you're getting lost and not being here above all the noise that's happening there. So those are some of the reasons that people come to us. We'll help you get clear. We'll help you get heard. And ultimately, you do those two and you will grow your business. A little bit about where Mind Over Markets for over, we work with over thousands of businesses, sustainable business in over 25 industries since 2003. And some of our clients. So did I make the 15-minute mark or am I over? I bet I'm over, right? Sorry.
Also, no. And just to reiterate for those who joined us a little late, we'll be sending all this information, all these slides, and again, the recording of this session in a follow-up email, as well as Carolyn's email and contact info. And so, yeah, if you want to quickly jump through the assessment.
Yeah, okay, so I'm going to go into, okay, here we go. This is what we picked, bioenergy, impact bioenergy. You get to a homepage, right? You don't know anything. You got 10 seconds to do 3 things. Number 1, what do they do? Number 2, how can they make my life better? Number 3, how do I buy from them? On your header. Okay, let's see how they did, all right? What do they do? Okay, so their overall, where people's eyes goes, they start here, this is their logo, then they go over here, and then they look at your message, obviously, really big message with a subhead. They led with environmental message, right? They're saying food waste is a renewable resource, and then it says take ownership of your environmental footprint. So the first thing I would say, and the most important thing, because your header is the most important, is what is important to this client, to this customer. I don't know if it's their environmental footprint. It might be, which they have this message on their site, convert waste to value or waste to energy. Right? Are they talking to corporations? I know for a fact, because I've talked to this company before, and that corporations are part of their customer. What corporations want right now, right? So that's a really important piece. And I think that their message just should be tweaked here to be talking about the value that their customer is going to get when they deal with them. But here's the thing, you probably still don't know what they do, right? Because it's not until I get further down do I learn what they do, but it has to happen here. Okay, so that's another tweak. Really clear sentence, which they have a little further down on what we do. We convert your waste, your bio waste into XYZ with our anaerobic machine. Okay, now I get what you do. All right, now what are we talking about? So I want to hear it right here. Also, it doesn't tell me how I can buy from them, right? It says learn more, which is kind of a passive, that's good a little further down, but you need through your website to have a way to buy from you. So it's a call to action, right? A call to action. It could be schedule a call. It could be shop now. It could be donate, right? But these are call to actions. Learn how isn't, okay? So I would change that to write to, and if you need to get on the call with your client, with this kind of client, or get a demo now, that's a call to action, okay? So we're just gonna scroll down. I'll do just a few more sections and not go through all of this because it's a lot. This actually is really good. The next section we call the stake section, meaning if they don't do anything, what are the stakes? Like what will happen to them if they just don't do anything or they don't buy from you, right? It's the problem section, okay? You got to answer there's a problem going on and we're the solution. They actually tell me the problem here, right? And improve the planet is again, an environmental message. So I don't know if a corporation is going to, like, their first urgent is going to be, I really want to improve the planet. I don't know. Corporations want to grow, right? So, and you have to talk to your customer. So I want to give them an A+ for this, and this has to be changed, okay? To really, what does it mean? And now look at, you come down, convert your waste to value. We're getting closer. That's what I would be leading with, that message. And here you go. This is where they describe, I have to go down this far to find out what they actually do, okay? Don't make your people dig and hunt for what you do. And I know you might be so close to your product or service that sometimes, you know, you're like, you think everybody knows what you know, but they don't. So make sure right up front they get what you do. And good pictures, I like the design, but I'm going more after the messaging today. So imagine your own buyer energy system. By the way, I like the bullets because this, I might bullet this out: job creation, renewable energy production, herbal. I mean, all of these are values, right? That's really good to show, but we don't read body copy and we don't read website, we scan them, right? We're on the phone right now when we're scrolling through, we're scanning, especially on your homepage. If you go in deeper, we might read now if we're really interested, but your homepage is gonna get them to that, okay? So this is really good here. And then they talk a little bit about quick design. I'm gonna go, and their partners, this is all good this is like good. Let me just tell you what is missing here. In these sections is how we like to do it is, first of all, your header that has your main clear one message, not three, then your stakes, the problem, what would happen if you didn't do anything, and then your value proposition. Why should they be why should I be buying your product? Why you, right? And that's what this section is all about, okay? I would have put campuses, farm to table, all of that right up on my header under here, so that when a customer gets there, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm a campus, I'm in the right spot. I wouldn't have buried it down in the copy down there. Then you want to do, I don't see any testimonials, right? Very big testimonials on your homepage. Let me just see what else. Oh, the credibility section is really important. I didn't get that here either. What I mean by credibility is, I mean, like, it's what I call is you're in good hands with Allstate section, right? That you have to show me that you've done this before. You know, how many businesses have you worked with? Who are they? Fortune 500? Give me the credibility so I feel safe and confident working with you. Okay, that's a really important section. Also, I didn't see a lead generator, right? And by the way, I didn't see one place to buy from them, not one call to action up here. Connect with us, which is passive, right? So I would just say, let's get some, it looks good. It just is a little bit of rearranging I would be doing and having your lead message right for the corporate world. And it might be medium businesses too. I'd have to learn a little bit more, but let's get your demo, or give us a call here. Let's get some testimonials and credibility up there. Have really your clear value proposition, and then perhaps a lead generator or something that something of value that you give your potential customer, that they're going to give you your email for, because they're not going to buy from you. Only 2 to 3% buy from you like that out of 100, right? So you have to then grow your list and take them on a journey, okay? Because it might be 5 years from the time they buy with you. It might be 15 months. But if you don't get their email address, they're there and they're gone. Okay, I just did that really fast. I hope that was valuable. And I just don't get discouraged. This is, you have a really good really good. You have all the bones here. It's just about if there's some tweaking that needs to be done. Okay? There we go.
Thanks, Carolyn, for really, summing that up in a great way. Shroop, I hope you all can connect after this. And again, thank you so much, Carolyn, for your presentation and, offering folks a way to get a free assessment of their homepage, and also for sharing that 50% off offer. That is super great. If anyone has questions in the meantime that they would like to post up in the chat box, feel free to do so and we'll get to those. Carolyn, I'd love to bring up some of the questions that were submitted earlier as well. And then if you're here as well, and this is one of your question, definitely please feel free to unmute yourself and clarify. So Belle from Beaumont Organics is curious to know how to tell your sustainable story in a more emotionally compelling way, how to inform about facts, methods, and practices in a more appealing way other than dry statements.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You know what? The dry statements have a place on your site, right? Remember those bullets I showed you, right? That you could say, this is what we do. This is that 100% of your waste will get XYZ. Those are really important, but they shouldn't be your headline, right? So how you tell a story first is to find out the emotional appeal, what's emotionally connecting to your customer, and have an authority message connected with that. So your headline, those big, remember those coming down the website, those big headlines that come down, each one of them takes you on a journey. That is where your emotional appeal should be, so that the whole purpose of that is so that they will read the rest and then they can get to the facts. So I'm not sure what your product is, but it would be like, my question is like, why is that important now, especially right now on the planet, right? What's the big why behind that? And framing your message around the why, and then having those facts be the support to your connection to why. So on my side, what I have is it's the steak section. If you go to Wind Over Markets, we have all the steps there. You can just follow it there. But I have, your business is too important to be lost in your sustainable business is too important to be lost in the crowd, right? It's like, you're right. My business is too important to be. So that's from a marketing standpoint, but whatever your product is, I'm working with an ocean waste plastic company right now that takes plastic out of the ocean and they convert it to beautiful packaging. And they have a mixture of messages there, but they talk about how much is in the ocean, and showing some pictures of that, and how much they have taken out. But their visuals and the line that they have, their headlines and their communications tell the emotional story of that, and their facts support it. Does that make sense?
Definitely, thank you. Our next question is from Carrie from Diaper Stork. How do you maximize marketing and advertising for small business budgets, for small business budgets? What % of revenue should you focus on marketing and advertising for growing a small business? Right.
I'm just going to tell you some of the things that they say generally out there. For like, if you're a startup, okay, you're out there for your first year, right? And this is going to sound really big because you might not have much revenue coming in, but it's generally 30 to 50% of your sales should be going to marketing. I know that sounds gigantic, but guess what? Nobody knows about you, right? And you need to be able to get the word out, but you don't always have to be paying for it. Paying meaning like I'm placing an ad on Facebook. Like before you place an ad on Facebook, there is so much more you can do to your lead generator can create those leads to come in, and you just post it on in the groups that you're involved in. For instance, I take care of a group on Facebook called Green Business Innovators, right? And there's 3,800 people there that are members. you join some of those groups that you know where your client is. You create your graphic and your good message, right? And then you bring them along so that they'll actually come to your website, right? You give them something of value. So now instead of, especially at the beginning for small business, so now instead of spending, so many dollars on Facebook, which I'm not saying not to do, but before you do that, you should be doing this piece because it's free, except for obviously your time that you have to do it. Now, if you're a more established business, say 5+ years, it goes down from there. It's anywhere, they say, between 8%, that's a really established business, to 20% of your income revenue goes to advertising and or marketing. But you're talking to a marketer here, and there's never a time where I'm not, right? And I don't mean I'm just spamming people all the time, but I'm giving, what I try to do is give value and give something to them first, right? And then ultimately, some of those people will be my clients. And the same goes for you, including products, not just services, but products as well. So what could you give away of value, and how do you create a program like that? And using social media and building your sales funnel, right? Your sales funnel that does that. Like this webinar, just to be totally transparent, is for anybody that comes on a webinar or presents. They're using that because they're getting to talk to their ideal audience. And some of them might continue the conversation, not all, but you can nurture them along the way. I said that before, through your sales funnel, without paying for anything other than the graphics to create let's say a PDF or a video that you send out there. So those are just some of the numbers. And then also, I just want to stress for small to medium, let's just say small businesses right now, there is so much that you can do without actually buying the print ad or the social media ad dollars, right? There's so much you can do by actually creating some value and giving that away and finding your right customer that way. Okay.
Thanks, Carolyn. Really quickly, I was hoping if you could clarify which company was upcycling ocean plastic for packaging.
Yeah, so no, I actually work with this company. I have a partnership. They are a Danish company. Mm-hmm. Go Google oceanwasteplastic.com. Mm-hmm. They are a packaging company that literally, I love this. This is why I'm working with them. They hire fishermen to go out, and on the way, so these fishermen are already going out every day and they're fishing on the way out. On the way back, they scoop up plastic with hand nets, right? It comes back to shore. Those fishermen get paid for that. So they're according to the organization, they're doubling their income by doing that. And then that plastic gets sorted. It gets deodorized and sanitized and then melted down into new resin, which becomes a bottle. I just happen to have one on me. This is, I don't know if you know Kevin Murphy. That's a popular, shampoo brand. Ocean waste plastic, right? So it's a very cool, sustainable solution. And then they mix it with some PCR, which is post-consumer recyclable material. So that's the company. Check it out.
Thanks, Carolyn. This next question that came in actually is, I think, super important for quite a few of the businesses that are part of our Seattle Made program. There are a ton of businesses that use upcycled materials or reclaimed materials to create their product, and oftentimes, there's a stigma about having, reused materials for this new product that you're trying to market. So I'm really glad Crystalline from Crystalline K Accessories asked this. She says that using reclaimed leather and dead stock materials is tricky to market, and so she was wondering if you had any tips for marketing waste as luxury items.
Yeah, well, actually, the ocean waste plastics is a good way to do that, right? Yeah. And I'll tell you what's important about that, how you do that, right, is that you have to show the end product as a beautiful product with people loving your end product, right? You have to show also the environmental message. So no, like if you notice it, you have to give them right on their website. It says, we take ocean plastic and convert and transform it into beautiful packaging, right? And then they show, they have a credibility of someone that has done that. They have 2 or 3 companies that they show, Kevin Murphy. So that helps people going, oh, okay, well, Kevin Murphy's into it, and so is Paul Mitchell. So that helps. But they also tell their sustainability story along the line. And sometimes where they get into trouble sometimes is that you know, yucky plastic that's coming out of the ocean. You ever see some of that stuff? It's really gross. So they have one of those pictures on their website. They just show, but then they show the whole process on how they really go transparent on the process of how they take that and then they infuse the social story and the environmental story together. It's like opening your heart, right? And then they show them all. They have actually a video and how it comes all squeaky clean at the end, and then it's showed in store. So give them the whole story, because if you're just saying we take this stuff and it becomes a product and here it is, what do you think, you like it? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have questions. You have to answer their objections before they ask it. Your FAQ section on your website is an important one for waste. I worked with a company that took recycled glass out of landfills, right, and converted it into a growing medium, right, for growers. It's a high-end product, but it's still mixed with dirt, so it's a little different. This one isn't. These are high-end products, right? So you have to tell the beautiful story and take your client or your customer through every step of it and infuse the social and the environmental together. So I hope that's helpful.
Very, thank you so much. The next question is from Katie from Sad Shop, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it. And so, you know, hopefully no clarification is needed, but she said that she recently changed her packaging from partially recycled plastic to fully compostable and would love to know strategies for effectively communicating that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's anything outside of all the...
I do have something about that. So if this is a really big deal for you, and this is because sometimes brands put that conversion, right, as a part of their marketing, or sometimes they're all of their marketing for a year or two until they can, you know, the story has been done. So if that is a really big deal from you, you went all the way, right? You know, we went all the way. And so I would be doing a video, right? And telling them the journey of that and showing them where they were and where you are right now. And then I would be marketing that video, okay? I'd have that video on your homepage. I would also, whoever the compost company or this, here's the thing, like if you do business with Ocean Waste Plastic, they have a lot of marketing materials and videos that they let them cut into their own video so that they can help tell the story, so you're not paying for all that, you know, filming that. So I would be identifying that kind of, whether it's stock video or if it's something from that company, and creating showing the message, make it under 2 minutes, your video, and then market that piece, put it right on your homepage. You might even have it on your header for a certain period of time when you are launching, and then bring it down as you move it through. So it's just front and center. Obviously press releases, PR, get it out that way. Get onto Instagram. There's so many zero waste and groups there. Have them help you get that out as well. But you have to have a compelling story to tell. You can do it through, you can do it through a PDF or other ways too, but there's nothing, when you're converting packaging like that, telling it through videos is the best way to go.
Thank you for that super comprehensive strategy on that. Next question is from Jessica from Edward Jones Investment. Is curious if there are any ramifications, positive or negative, to businesses getting funding based on a sustainable business model. And if
so are there any ramifications on getting funded, right? Because that they, yeah, you know, one of the slides I took, one of the slides I took out of my presentation because I had to shorten it was about Wall Street, okay? I'm telling you right now, Wall Street sustainability has gone from the bottom of the list to the top 3, okay? Why? Because risk mitigation, brand loyalty, lower prices, resiliency, a marketing story. So that's why we're seeing so much traction right now, is that, so the fact that you have a sustainability story is actually a plus and a competitive advantage. Tell it well. So ESGs, I just spoke to an impact investor yesterday for the company Raymond James, big company, right? Big company. And they are, he's coming to Seattle, okay? But his lead message is ESGs, right? Environmental social governance, ESGs. So it is definitely a plus. I would be turning up the volume. It can be a way to raise funds. And then you say, well, how do I do that? You actually have to make sure you do everything you do in a regular business. But just enhance the sustainability piece of that. So I hope that's helpful. Let me do a PS to that, right? One of my clients is a utility in New Mexico. And one of the gripes that their customers say is that they weren't doing enough sustainability and they should be doing more. And I had been working with them for several years, and their sustainability story was all over the place on their website. There was not coherent. People or press or investors couldn't go. And so they said, hey, we need to create they wanted to create a whole new website that we called it Our Sustainability Story. It's a robust website. Now, this is a bigger company, right? But the reason why they've spent the money doing that is because the investors were asking for it. Their customers were, but then when the investors started saying, are you doing enough with, for environment and sustainability? That's when that got a green light. So I just want to tell you that story because that's moving the market right now.
Thank you. We have just a handful of minutes left, and so I'd love to open it up to the room. I know we have quite a few folks here, so if you'd like to raise your hand with the button or put your question or your name into the chat box and we can call on you. But yeah, last call for any last questions for Carolyn. And again, we'll be sending out all this info and the recording out in the next few days, as well as Carolyn's slides. I'll give a few seconds for anyone who might have any questions.
Maybe I'll just say while those are coming in, if they come in, that there were a few of you that wanted to get an assessment, and I have for June, I will sit down with you via, online, right? Grab a cup of tea and I will take a look at your website. And this is for free, no strings attached. I'll take a look at and go through it and show you where you can make it better. So your customer, where you can grow your business, right? Where your customer can take them on the journey. So just, if you go to CPARS, well, you'll have all those connections for them, but you just go ahead and schedule some time with me and I'd be happy to take you through the places on your site where you might be able to do it better, okay? I just wanted to emphasize that.
Yeah, thank you, Carolyn. One question from Erin from our team actually at Seattle Good Business Network. How do businesses market or highlight their third-party certifications like the B Corp certification?
Yeah. What I see a lot, it's in their footer, right? And you know how your footer of the web, we're talking websites now, and then I'll say beyond websites, but but let's face it, the first place people go, other than talking to their, you know, like someone says, oh, did you check out? They go to their website, right? So that's what you have to have it there. And if it's a B Corp is such a rigorous certification, I would be totally blowing the horn on that, right? Because it took you a lot to get to there. So on your footer, right, of your website, you know, you scroll down, that footer goes through every page. It, right, continues on in every page. So you're going to see that on every page. It would be right there. And not just a little thing that you go, what is that? B Corp. Now, if they don't know what a B Corp is, it's your responsibility to say some of that. And you can do that on your website as well, as part of your sustainability story. But put it right there, you know, so that they see that over and over again. Some people put it at the top. I don't like to see that too much. It gets too cluttery. You want to get your message straight, so they're not, their eye isn't going like, oh, we call that the hierarchy of messages. You just want to have a really clear one message. So that's what I would be doing. Green America is another certification. I sit on the board of Green America. So, you know, just put it right there in your footer. And there are other certifications as well.
Thank you. Our next question is from Alex. Regarding sustainability goals and related messaging, how important is it to hear from the CEO directly or CEO equivalent?
Lots. How's that for it? It is so important to hear from the CEO. And it doesn't mean that you have to be constantly hearing from the CEO, but if it's not coming from that level, then honestly, you don't really know if it's a buy-in, okay? Now, a lot of times it gets to the CEO because of all those, who's driving this market, by the way? Employees and consumers are driving this market. But if your C-suite, especially your CEO, is not on board and have bought into this and will come be public about it, then there's confusion and speculation and, you know, and doubt that can occur. So I can't emphasize that more. And I know it's hard sometimes. One of my clients with the CEO, you know, is an introvert, right? and feels a little, I think, a little intimidated about it, but a little coaching can get you through that, but it's got to come out loud through the CEO.
Thank you. I think one of our last questions is from Erin again. If businesses want to be more sustainable but haven't gotten there yet for cost or other reasons, should they be transparent or proactive about their goals and the choices they're making?
Yeah, you know, sustainability is a journey. Okay, zero companies, including Patagonia, are fully sustainable, right? So if the first thing you need to do is make the decision. You have to make the decision saying, yes, I'm going on the journey, okay? Now, like, don't like, I'm kind of going, oh, I got solar panels and we recycle, you know, and that, because that could be taken as greenwashing. When a company is not really into it, they're doing the stuff that seems cool, but is not. So you have to get you and your team create a green team inside of your organization, however big or small it is, and then create your sustainability goals. And they could be over a 10-year period, right? Or at least a 5-year period, and then start small but then do it. And you can communicate that, and you can communicate. What I love about Patagonia is there's a part of their website, I couldn't catch it. I think they transformed it, but I loved it when they had it. It was called the Footprint Chronicles. And what they did is they had 10 garments of theirs, and they analyzed each one of those garments, and they said what was good about it, what was not good about it, and what they're going to do about that. So they actually called themselves out and taxed themselves, and they said, hey, this is, the footprint on this is not too good, and it's XYZ, but this is what we're doing to try to make it better. So be transparent, but the biggest thing is make the decision, just say yes and say, we're going to go on this journey, and then begin the journey. Okay.
Thank you for that. No more questions. And I think that you've given us a lot to think about, and hopefully a lot for folks to be able to take back to their businesses and implement. So thank you so much once again, Carolyn, for all your insight.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you everyone for coming. Yeah.
May the sustainability force be with you, okay? And have any questions, you can call me, right? No matter what. Hey, go to my website and get the 7 ways to grow your business. There's some good stuff in there. I have your email addresses already, so I'm not looking for your email address. Just get it, okay? And thank you so much, Nico and Andrea. And hope to, stay connected to y'all.
Absolutely. And if anyone's interested in checking out our future learning labs, just look at our website. And if you have any suggestions for topics for future learning labs, please feel free to reach out. But yes, thank you so much, Carolyn, again. And thank you everyone for taking the time this morning. All right, everyone have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Bye-bye.